Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to show number 187 of the Jimmy Palumbo Show. That's right. What happened? You were frozen. The internet took the opening drive 48 yards for a 37-yard field goal, but since then, it has been all the Jimmy Palumbo Show. Once again, another smooth start. Your face was frozen. I didn't know whether to go. Maybe we got to reverse that opening. Just go.
You're like the best part is like right before the music. You're like, what happened? Like, bam, bam.
Every time I do this show, I age in dog years. Have you noticed that? I think like in another 15 episodes, I'm going to be 90 years old.
Well, what are you going to do?
Oh, my God. Well, everybody, good evening or good afternoon. It's a good one here. Coming to you live from downtown Mawad, of course, behind the glass, your friend and mine, Dave Sturchill, coming from downtown Dunellen here at Shea, still proudly wearing that Dallas Cowboy hat. God bless him. That fine soul. Dave, how are we doing this morning?
Well, other than the Cowboys debacle, once again, I'm good to go. I'm just getting my voice back. I've been doing the T, right? Trying to get the voice back because yesterday I was a part of an absolute zoo last night, and it was the best game that I maybe ever attended.
Dave had to go to counseling last night. Funny thing is, Dave's therapist, because he's been struggling since Saturday around 3.
Oh, yeah.
So the counselor, turns out his counselor is in the Bronx on 161st Street. So we're going to get to all of that. Dave went to the Yankee game last night in 10-degree weather. But of course, this is show 187. I just hang the new beer league thing. Doesn't look that bad there.
I do like that.
I used to have a Rutgers thing there, but you can tell why I took that down for this week anyway. But this is show number 187. And of course, 1987 was the year I graduated from the McScarlet Knight University. Of course, I got to mention this is show number 1, Howard Cross, our good friend and mine.
Good friend. Yeah.
And this is for Venditti and my brother, Gary Shirk, tight end from 1976 to 1982. He was famous for every year they said Gary Shirk was going to get beat out by a draft pick tight end from Ohio State or Georgia, whatever. And every year the starting tight end on opening day was Gary Shirk, and he stunk. That's how we knew the Giants stunk. My brother's laughing at that right now. And of course, for Venditti, this is show number 1, Byron Williams. Now, you don't remember Byron Williams, but he was famous for, in my eyes, one thing. He caught a 1984, a 65-yard strike over the middle and took it to the house against the Cowboys at a time where we hadn't had a wide receiver take a ball to the house, I think, in like 30 years, and he did it. And, of course, he disappeared. But on YouTube, there's actually a greatest highlight reel for Byron Williams. It's like
there is.
And then you know what I found, though? And this is awesome for you Giant fans. Actually, you would get a kick out of it, or your dad might get a kick out of it. There's a Giant Dallas game from 1984 with Phil Simms is on YouTube in its entirety, like 2 hours and 3 hours, whatever. Just to hear Madden and Summerall, the bad graphics, the Giant players, because in 81 they got LTs, they were better. Then 82 was the strike. 83, Parcells got the job. They went 3-13. They stunk. In 84, was the first year they got, maybe there's something going on here. In 85, they lost to the Bears. In 86, they were good. But it's just great to see these old players coming. First of all, none of the players could start today. Like, not one. They're all like, the linebackers are like 600 pounds. Like, nobody looks in shape. It's awesome. But just Google 1984 Giant.
Who won the game?
I think the Giants beat them up. Then
I won't watch it.
But it's just funny to see the graphics. It's awesome. Anyway, show number 187. And, of course, the baseball card I do at the top of the show. Now, this guy, I thought he was better than he was overall. I guess injuries came up. But there was one point where this guy was by far, I think, maybe Dwight Gooden was better, I guess. This guy was like a badass. His name was Astro pitcher Mike Scott. Now, You don't remember this guy, Mike Scott, but
no, that name actually does ring.
He's famous for Met fans in the '86 playoffs. The Mets and Astros played a 6-game series in the NLCS, I guess it was called. I don't know what the different. It's like LGBTQ, NLCS, ADS. You don't know what the hell's going on. I mean, what's going on? The Yankees are playing the gay team today. What's happening? Dave's coughing again.
There it is.
But this guy pitched. First, let me tell you what his. Imagine if a pitcher on the Yankees did this today. The Mets won in 6, but he won the 2 games. Okay, his ERA was .50 in the playoffs. He pitched 18 innings, 2 starts, went 9 innings each way. He gave up 8 hits, 1 run, and 1 walk, 19 Ks in 2 games. I mean, he won 1-0 and 3-1 in '86.
Did he win MVP of the NLCS?
He was a Cy Young. He won it all. But the crazy thing is, and only Met fans remember this. You weren't even born yet. They saved him for Game 7, and Game 6 went 16 innings, and the Mets won. I mean, I remember watching it at my frat house. And everybody was like, if the Mets lose this game, they got Scott pitching Game 7, it's over. Because he hadn't given up a hit. A couple of things about him that I thought were cool. His best year was 1986. He was 18-10 with a 2.2 ERA, Cy Young. In '89, he was 20-10 with a 3.1 ERA. He was traded from the Mets to the Astros. That's what made it worse. For a guy named Danny Heap, which I always thought Danny Heap sucked. Of course, I did my research. And it turns out like he wasn't a great player, but Danny Heap played 13 years, was a fine. First of all, Danny Heap could easily start on the Yankees right now. He batted like .257. He's a fine player, 13 years in the league. But what really changed his game, Mike Scott, was Roger Craig, the famous pitching coach and manager, taught him the split finger. And everybody started with it because it started with Detroit. And then
game changer.
A game changer for everybody. But he was also famous for scuffing the ball. And some ex-players are really like.
Wait. What team did he play for?
Played for the Astros.
Oh, wow. So
and the Mets.
Started way.
Yeah, they've been cheating for years, that team. But he made a joke like, I don't know what they're talking about. The threat of me scuffing it made the players think more. But anyway, the best part of him, though, is I Googled him. He's retired and is a big Anaheim Duck fan. That's all it said. I love when guys do this. They pitch under the radar, playing in playoff baseball. He was making $2 or $3 million a year back in the 80s. That was a lot of money back then. And then he retired. Hey, honey, you know what? Let's just move to Anaheim and follow the Ducks. Like, no pitching.
Big Mighty Ducks fan. I get it.
Yeah, right. He's out. He's like, I'm out. I don't want to coach. I don't want to coach at San Jose Community State College.
I don't want to
do anything. That's like the guy Dennis Franz from NYPD Blue. He was making like $2 million an episode for 11 years. NYPD Blue. He retired and went with his wife and bye-bye.
I don't know that guy by name, but was that the fat guy?
Main guy? Yeah, the fat guy.
Yeah. So he never did anything after NYPD Blue?
No. Bye-bye. Everybody's like, oh.
Meanwhile, Schmidt, or what's his name? Smits or whatever.
Yeah, they're doing everything.
He's still doing it.
Right. But I think he might have done a few movies after that, but not really. No, he disappeared. And I love it because he's like, honey, I just made $80 million in the 90s money. Right. Why don't we just go on a cruise and not ever come back? Like, what am I going to do with any agents? Tell me you wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? And Dave Sturt Show from you'd be in Spring Lake.
Jimmy Palumbo would be hosting the fucking show with Tyson Hogan.
Oh, I'd be hosting it. I wouldn't even host it. I would just, you know what I would do? Just put a picture of the beer league poster with Percy Faith and Bing Crosby music playing. And that's the Jimmy Palumbo Show. Your father laughed at that. Anyway, all right. So that's it. That's my baseball card. God bless the Anaheim Ducks. So, of course, Patreon.com. You got to go to We're stuck at 44. This is annoying me now. We're stuck at 44. Someone's got to sign up for the $3. We're at 44. We are now officially mired in a bad slump. We look like what's his name? Wells at the plate right now. I'll get to that in a second. Anyway, shout out to Jeff Fulgione, who came to the Beer League screening, which we're going to get to in a few seconds. Also, my friend Bob Sheehan, big Bears fan. He's all fired up with their quarterback. And, of course, your friend of mine, Tyson Hogan and Darryl Clark, who are the future hosts of the show. when Dave Sturcho retires or his wife tells him he can't do the show anymore.
You gotta
we
go.
don't know.
You gotta go get a real job, Dave. This is enough.
It's real job day here at the stadium. I remember my days back in the podcast back in 2023. So go on Patreon, go check it out. Shout out to everybody that does donate. And of course, you got your friend in mind, chasingmiracles.com. I am wearing the patches as we speak. I wish I could show them to you. They're awesome. They are stem cell patches. They create immediate effect on your body and repair and stuff at a cellular level. No needles, non-invasive. Dave, if you pee in the cup with these things, what happens?
His fat ass.
you can pee in a cup and pass a steroid test. Yeah.
There you go. Absolutely. Don't, as they say, don't spend $10,000 on injections when this stuff just gives you shit your body needs. Go talk to Tommy and Donna at chasingmiracles.com. These things are cool. A bunch of athletes, Serena Williams, Michael Phelps, a bunch of wrestlers use them because wrestlers don't take drugs. And go check that out. And all right, so we got a lot to talk about on this program. First of all, we have to talk about, obviously, the beer league screening on Friday. It went really, really well, those of you scoring at home. Of course, I got down there, and I was supposed to go with my cousin John in an Uber. So we got a hotel in Hazlitt, which is one of those Holiday Inns that when you enter the Holiday Inn, in order to get to your room, you get your 10,000 steps in. And there was like 700 rooms in this hotel, an outdoor pool.
Staying at the Molly Pitcher.
What was that?
I thought you were supposed to.
No, we switched it over to this Holiday Inn. But the best part was my cousin John just said, again, he's got a dry sense of humor. He was at the screening. He just said, "Who comes to Hazlitt?" It's like, what are they? There's no way.
That's a neighboring town of Matawan, New Jersey.
even if you have a prolific whore business going on in Hazlitt, you're still not filling up 700 rooms on an hourly rate. And it was a weird shaped thing, and ice machine worked fine though. That's all I needed.
All right.
But I was delayed there because he was coming up from LBI and didn't realize one thing about Atlantic Highlands. If you live in Atlantic Highlands, you're 45 minutes away from Atlantic Highlands. There is no place. The only way you can get to Atlantic Highlands quickly is by helicopter. I don't know where you land. You just land on Bruce Springsteen's house and walk over. So my cousin came from LBI. He was doing a little perusing the homes there. God bless him. And so I'm waiting there. And meanwhile, I'm calling Mike Caprio from cornholelevel.com. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Like, I'm going to miss my own premiere. I finally got it. But he joined me and we went. So we were there a little late, but you guys weren't really doing anything except for hanging out. It was weird. We had a bunch of people from out of town there. I did have some family and friends there, some friends, but we definitely had some people that really hadn't seen it all, which was cool. Me and Dave sat in the back. And the funny thing is he sat within eye shot of me. We were like two.
I wanted to sit next to with my dad.
Your dad was in front of you, but we were like two 16-year-olds. We laughed at every time we left, we looked at each other like, how funny was that? How funny was that? But the audience was along for the ride. It was really cool. Of course, I'm glad I spent $50 overnighting a poster, which is this one right here, that sat in the deep corner of the bowels of the Smod Castle. Ernie was great over there. If you ever have a screening, do it there. It's cool.
Great spot.
The technical guy who did the film, we're going to get to that in a second, in the back room.
Yeah.
But then we put put Game Day on. Now, I hadn't seen the short. The short Game Day is awesome, and I really like that. It's funny as hell. It's a young Artie, a young me, a young Deej, and Mousy from Tom Bolster from Live on Tape sketch comedy group. And it's just, and Tony Menudo is the bartender. It's just funny as hell, man. It's raw.
Mousy's character is hilarious.
Mousy's character is
very, very funny.
Remember that look? He was
just
like,
dead to the world. Yeah, dead to the world.
And Artie goes, "Can you get Tony Menudo goes, can you do that?" He knew it was funny. Can you do that look again? And he repeated it. Oh my God. So I really enjoyed. My friend Mike Ruane directed that, and I called him up after. I said, "You would have been real proud," because a new audience watched it and they really, really liked it.
Yeah.
And then I went up, I spoke a little bit. I spoke in between each things for people, obviously, who weren't there. I was doing a little stand-up mixed in, busting balls, having a good time. And the thing was, when the movie Beer League came out, another tidbit, First of all, I was trying to tell people stuff that maybe they didn't know. Like we wanted to go with Scott Baio over Ralph Macchio, stuff like that. And but I knew we were in the theater. The sound in the beginning was always low. Now I got in an argument with the director. I'm like, dude, somebody fucked up the audio on this thing because at the theater when it came out, it was low. My sister ran back. So what happens? They put it. Of course, I told Smodcastle, be aware of the audio. It comes out. It sounded like Percy Faith music coming out of elevator music. I ran back to the guy. There's no guy there. All he did was hit play and bolted out of there. I'm running.
You got a whole theater to run, though. But it's just him.
Please. And the other thing was, we were the crowded theater. The best thing was, first of all, a theater behind us had some kind of kid movie. So while we're doing beer league material in the hallway, these 8-year-old kids are running back and forth. It was such
what about that random out of nowhere? They're like, Mom, I lost my tooth. All right. And everybody's going batshit nuts for this little girl who lost the tooth.
And everybody, Deej gave her $5. Everybody's giving her money.
Start doing this. All right, here we go. I can use some money.
Dave's like, hit me in the face. Hit me in the face. Hit me in the face. Deej is giving out tooth fairy stuff.
Yeah.
But I went back there, and then the best part was I went in and said, hey, everybody, do you want me to start the movie over? And all my friends yelled, no.
And you did anyway.
No, I had to because you couldn't hear anything. And Artie says some funny shit at the beginning of the movie. But then we cranked it up. It sounded fine. And it was good. First of all, I hadn't really watched Beer League straight through in a while either. So you and I, first of all, I know even before I met you, you were a fan of the movie. So your eyes were sparkling watching it.
Yeah.
Like, I know you've watched it like 30. I don't know anybody. You probably watched it the most of any person.
It's unhealthy.
And we were laughing our ass off. It was really cool. Then, of course, I spoke a little bit about the pilot, and we did take a little break in between, which I know you didn't want to. But Deeds told me yesterday that there was like 15 people that were like, tell him not to start. I got to pee. So he thought he was doing the right thing. But actually, we did one thing. Maybe we made a mistake, have a pee break. But one thing we did really well, which never happens, everybody pretty much came back like 8 minutes later. So
I was just worried about people thinking, man, that was it. Like if you didn't know what was going on, like you'd be like, oh, all right, I'm out. It's over. Like lights are on.
I don't think we lost any though. Maybe one or two.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think
Dude,
so.
I'm telling you, like shout out to like you were mentioning before, you had some friends and family, and my dad showed up, and like all the cast family showed up, but like the one guy from Boston drove all the way down to watch it. There was a group from upstate New Jersey came all the way down to watch. There was one guy that showed up.
Skechers guy, my buddy, Skechers guy was there.
There was another guy that, and it was like a little bit of an odd thing, but like he sat down, he had like a trench coat on, and he was real early. Like he was outside the building as I was walking in early.
Right.
And I looked at him like he winds up in our theater, and I was like, oh, you're a beer league fan? He goes, no, I just heard that there was a pilot, and I'm just a fan of just independent stuff.
Oh wow, I didn't even know that.
Cool. I was like, cool, glad you're here. And that's the cool part. You're reaching friends and family, but like the people that you don't talk to directly who are showing up to do that's the cool part.
We definitely had a lot of, by the way, most of the people didn't see the pilot, that we know.
Right.
But and most of the people saw the Beer League movie, but to be honest with you, probably the last time most people saw that was when it was in the theaters 20 years ago.
That's the only thing. I was talking to my dad the next day about it, and I said it's the only thing that's gonna hold this up. Not a negative way, because if you're a Beer League fan, you're gonna love the series. I think you're gonna love the series. But like if you did not see Beer League, it's not gonna make a lot of sense. If you have to see Beer League to understand what the series is about to do or try to do.
Yeah, and that's okay. That's very funny you say that, because that could be that's really a fatal flaw in the pilot, in that if you're not familiar. But then again, if you
how are you supposed to paint a picture in 20 minutes? You know what I mean?
We again, the pilot. First of all, I can explain this to people. It's really, we're calling it a pilot, but that's not really what it is. It's really a proof of concept.
Right.
They call it a POC for those jerk offs at home. We do a POC. What the fuck are you talking about? When you do a pilot in the real world, that's episode 1.
Right.
Once in a while, they reshoot the pilot, but most of the time, that's episode 1, and then they go 2, 3, 4, all the way out. And in the pilot, depending on what kind of pilot it is, some of those AMC pilots or those FX pilots, they don't explain much in the first episode.
Oh, you got to watch it through.
They want you, they explain it in 3 hours, which is 6 episodes. In the beginning, you're like, and next thing you know, by episode 7, you're all wrapped up. But some pilots, like that show on Dr. Odyssey on ABC, I watched the first pilot because me and my sister were laughing over Love Boat, like I told you last week. And I watched it. And in that first pilot, man, it could have been more clear. Yes, we're going to be on a boat. Yes, it's about the doctor on a boat. This is the captain. Here's the doc. Here are the people that work there. Right. And we're going to have a guest star every week and go. It was like kind of that setup. But, we didn't have the money to do that. So we kind of had to creep it back and forth.
Hey, gun to your head. If and when, I'll say when to put the positive vibes in the universe, if this gets picked up or somebody wants to invest and do it, gun to your head, do you reshoot the pilot?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, you want to do it all over again?
Completely.
Okay.
Yeah. Even if we, I was going to get to that because I feel, I listen, first of all, we're forgetting one major thing. We're talking about proof of concept. How would the Yankees do without Stanton, Soto, and Judge in the playoffs? That's how big Artie is to beer league. Yeah, so we're trying to win the game with Johnny Trino behind center. And hand off the start show. He rambles inside. For some reason,
the manager decided to bet Trino in the cleanup spot.
spot.
Not really sure. He's a more. Yeah,
start show in the 5-hole.
Yeah.
So it's that's a tough thing, number one. But I think there is room for this, and just 3 things are going to happen. Number one, we got to put together, like I said, this Bible thing. For those of you scoring at home, that's something. It's like a whole presentation, a whole thing about what we're trying to do, what it's based on, where the episodes go, episodes say 2 through 10, where it ends up, what happens to your character. Also, full background on your character. So in other words, in this Bible, there'll be like 2 pages about Dave Destruction, where he's from, who his parents are, what was he really, all these things are in there. And then you could feed off of that as you go further, even if it's a subtle thing, like if it, if you want to, if there's a thing that Dave Destruction is actually an elementary school teacher, right?
Right.
There might be an episode where like Johnny Trino's going to get his grandkids, and all of a sudden he sees Dave. You know what I mean? And that's all in there, and you use it when you want, or never use it.
So who is that? Who is that particularly for then? Investors?
Well, it's for investors. Yeah, okay. That's something that the big boys.
You're just providing them with context, really.
Yeah. Well, context, exactly right, and that's for the big boys.
Gotcha.
Now, if it was, if Taylor Swift was in the proof of concept, people would buy it. Just here you go, let's go.
I wouldn't go to the premiere.
Yeah, that's right. So yes, you would if you were playing Dave Destruction. Start show lines up against Kelsey, right side, first down.
Swift and Kelsey were in the building last night, by the way.
I know, which made no sense. They're all over the place.
I don't know. And that's
another story.
One beautiful thing that I didn't have to listen to the broadcast.
Right. Yes, I did. Thank God, no Bob Costas.
I know.
So, but the thing is, we got to go through and pitch it to the big boys, which we're gonna do. Now, listen. Do I have hope we can? When I say big boys, I mean Netflix, Amazon, Tubi, all the streaming services. And even a network, HBO. But the odds of doing that, that's a really hard road there. We got no stars. That's tough. The second thing is to get an investor. Who's going to give real money? We're talking like 50 to 100 grand. A group of investors come in, maybe 10 guys give 5 grand. That kind of real money, not the money. We spent around 9 grand on this, real money. And the other thing is to raise the money ourselves. And as soon as we get a couple of bucks, we shoot a couple of episodes, couple of bucks, and those would be webisodes, 3 or 4 minutes long, and we'll see how long we can carry it. I might want to do that, depending on how I feel, but we have to have some kind of investment money. Someone's got to buy into this. But like I said, I thought the pilot did way better than I thought it was going to do. I think the audience followed it along. Mm-hmm. I think the audience got most of the jokes, which was important to me because I wrote a lot of them.
A lot of them landed. And you know what it is? A lot of them understood the aging Johnny Trino. You know what I'm saying? Like you went from this cocky prick who can hit 706 to a dad who just still thinks he got it. You know what I mean?
That's what we're trying to do. The whole show, and it's really, that's why if I get in the investor room with a big puppy or a big guy with a big checkbook, I'll be like, look, Like, how old are you? You're 60? Like, were you good in sports back in the day? Well, you suck now because you're old. But guess what? We got a softball game on Wednesday, and you're going to play third. All right. I think I can still hang. It's about that getting out of the house one day a week to get away from your parents. Get away from your kids, get away from your wife. But you don't hate your wife. You don't hate your kids. No, you have a job. It's just camaraderie. Honey, I got it. And same thing for the wife. Hey, honey, I'm going out Friday night with the girls. We're going to the restaurant. She's going to come home, 3 or 4 glasses deep. And she's got to get out of the house and rip on you and bust balls and talk about, people that they fooled around with. And that's really all it is. It's about that ritual of the one day a week. Years ago, it was bowling, softball. Now it might be pickleball or golf, whatever it is. You got to get out of the house for a little bit. And that's really all it is. And now that we're older, can we still hang with the kids? A little bit like my dad did. My dad's team got real good at the end, but then they just got a little too old and it affected them. But he played till he was like 65 almost, maybe 70.
Really?
Yeah, so does and my uncle played in over 60 league in Union. My dad was a purist. I always tell the story. He dropped the fly ball playing first. We were short, and he gets done. He should have caught it. And some of the guys said, "Oh, you got to have that, Mr. Palumbo." And he sat down. And he goes, "Jimmy, I'm not playing anymore. I can't do it." And he said, "You'll see someday." You know what? I played a little bit this year, but the guy says, "Can you play third?" And I'm like, I played 1 inning. I was shivering. I was like, "Please don't hit me a ground ball." The first baseman looked like he was in Carteret. I'm up in Mawa. And I'm like, even if I catch the ball, I got to fire across. And you know what happens? You become an 18-year-old. So I would catch it from my knees and come up firing and throw it 9 feet over his head. But that's really what it's about. It's about these older guys and also a little bit playing with your kids. Watching your kids who were as good as you were, really, maybe even better. And then the culture of softball, a little bit like we had some guys, like my friend Barry Kohorski. He wasn't that good at baseball, but he was strong. And, let's face it, it's a big ball coming in and there's a metal device in your hand and you hack away. We call him Tomahawk, but he was hitting ropes, but was he a good ball player? Yeah, maybe a little league, but but he became a very good softball player. And I was the same way. I was so tiny. I wasn't that good in baseball. But in softball, I made your first baseman and second baseman look sick because I was going to golf shot it over their head. That's really what it's all about. But I thank everyone for showing up. I thank for all your comments. Shout out to Darryl Clark for buying some tickets, even though he wasn't going. We actually gave them to people. We gave a bunch of giveaways away. Dave got that. You're going to wear the beer league hat.
Oh, shit. I have it around here somewhere.
I gave Dave a lot of the giveaways were stuff you can't really get anymore. I just kept them in a bin. And I have these 2 green hats that a chick from Linden, I forget her name. Maybe her name was Linda, Linda from Linden. Yeah, something like that. And she did like graphic art. She worked with me. I was like, "Can you make me a hat?" And for some reason I chose this Green Bay green, yellow. No idea why I chose. She chose, I forget, to be honest with you. And she stitched together this thing. It was like, that was the original. So that hat is the original.
I also have to give a shout to Stephanie Hurl. She was the photographer. She did a wonderful job.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
She did a great job. And the best part is her husband was there and you gave him one of the Corvette Larry's jersey.
I gave him, now here's the best. He came up to me and I'm like, I said, he's Jimmy Big. And I was like, you know what? Hang on. We had a Corvette Larry shirt there. Deej brought it. And I'm like, I said, I got to give this to someone because if you give a shirt away like that, they don't really care. They throw it out. But I was like, dude, this is from the Short Game Day. That's the bar, which is a real bar in Orlando. My buddy Mike always thought, what a great name for a bar, Corvette Larry's. I made him laugh. And so that to me is like, King Tut's tomb of jerseys. And you sent me a picture. He already framed it.
He works for WWE and Endeavor as one of the security guys, web security. Right. And I sent me a picture. His wife sent me a picture. She said, "Look what he did with the jersey." He mounted that shit already in a glass case, and I'm like, "Oh my god, it's amazing!" You
have to give me her number. I'll text her. I think that's awesome. I'm going to send that to my buddy Mike Ruane. He'll love that too. So anyway, it was just, at the end of the day, it was good, clean fun. Of course, what happened was I stayed at the Hazlitt Hotel. I got in about 1 a.m. and I had to get up early because I had to drive some fat fuck to the Rutgers game. His name is Dave Sturcio. But we met at Rutgers game in the morning, a noon start, so you can figure that out. And of course, we have a new strategy now. Dave meets me at Piscataway High School, which works out. So I don't have to go 45 minutes out of my way on the way home. And we got there early with enough time to tailgate. My gang had a nice little tailgate.
Nice breakfast spread.
And a nice breakfast spread there and other food. And Dave, of course, brought the Coors Light, Coors banquet beers from his kid's birthday party in July.
Yep. Got to get rid of those. I drank them all.
but it's the classic theory. If you bring beer to a guy's house, no matter what it is, even if it's not a beer he likes, when either things are tight or you're out of beer, you're like, I'll have a quart. Like when you will drink the worst, anybody will drink the worst beer.
I went through a whole summer of just drinking Rolling Rock.
It's like
it's not the greatest beer in the world, but it gets the job done.
Somebody brought me a 12-pack of Heineken once, and for like 4 months, I don't really like Heineken.
That was the first beer I ever tasted at 16. Heineken.
Mine was a Michelob.
Yeah,
regular Michelob, not a pitcher. But that's so funny. And next thing you know, all the Heinekens are gone. I'm like, you're watching the Yankee game on a Tuesday night. No one's around. You drink them. They'll always go. But we went to the game, and we got there in time. Strolled in.
I regret getting there on time.
And I gotta admit, I'm a big Rutgers fan. You all know that. This game ruined me. I felt like a patient that was ill, and they finally made some like a possible cure, and then my legs fell off. I am so down on Rutgers football right now. You can't even talk to me. I'm still a fan. I'm not going anywhere. They stink. This game, even though it was only 42-7, people say, hey, it's not like the old days. Oh, yes, it was. Now, I felt bad because, because I don't really like Dave Sturcho. I made him a Rutgers fan, and he never really experienced. I said, Dave,
son of a bitch.
Be careful. So Dave sitting there, and midway through the second quarter, he was like, oh, my God. You said something to me. You said something to me like, how long have you been doing this? Like, you were like, wait a minute. Like, it was a fresh wound for you. But for me, it was like, Dave, I got scars all over my body. You were like a babe in the woods. How awful was that game? It was
horrible. Every facet of the game was rough. And, it's funny that the one thing that you said to me about Shiano is that, run through that tunnel. He's a savage. He's a beast before that game. That whistle blows to start the game. He blows to start the game, dude. He stunk.
I'm telling you, they do plays. They do things. Rutgers does things that scratch your head. First of all, they lead. They're like third in the nation of plays over 30 yards. I don't listen. I don't want to hear about the injuries. Every team's got injuries week 6. Everybody's banged up. It was the whole. And then to read the Facebook comments. You got to get there early to see the opening, how we open up with the fireworks. This isn't Blacksburg or State College, Pennsylvania. This weekend, there was nothing going on in sports in New York except for Mets, Yankees, Knicks, Rangers, WNBA finals.
Yeah, you're right.
And people are like, I can't believe there wasn't Rutgers. What are you kidding me? It's like if you had a chance to go to the 10 Plaza hotels or the Holiday Inn in Hazlitt, where are you going? There was events going on. There was a decent little crowd there. But from the start to finish, it was horrible. We left at the start of the fourth quarter. We got out of there.
It's so funny because we're walking up the ramp to the game, and the first little break in the tunnel, you could see the field a little bit. And the first thing Jimmy says is, you see that? You see that? There's nobody here.
Nobody here. And we're 4-1. 4-1 with a chance.
That Wisconsin loss was, I guess, deflating to the fan base. And then it carries over. And that shit carries over. It carries over at home now. It was
horrible. And then, but another funny thing happened. So Mike Caprio was there from
that's right.
cornholelevel.com. We're going to get to that NFL stinks list in a minute. And so he's there with me and Dave are hanging out. We're having, by the way, the beers, that is another issue. Do you really need to have a 24-ounce can of beer? I mean,
so they can charge 14.
I know, but it's actually like heavy. It's
right.
You're trying to talk to someone and the beer's in the way. It's like,
it's huge.
It's 16 ounces. Oh, let's keep it at 16 ounces. Jesus. And so anyway, I'm sitting there, and then I saw a wide receiver from LSU 5 feet away, and I looked. Listen, I'm not. All it was, this girl was like she runs a 4-2. She had the LSU. She's choosing between Auburn, Georgia, and LSU. And I just hit Dave on the shoulder, and listen, Dave's a happily married man. He's just a guy. I go, Dave. I go, Dave, is it me? How explosive? And Dave looked over. He goes,
I looked over. I was like, Jesus.
So then I'm like,
whoa. Okay.
And then she looked over at me for a second, and I was saying to myself, I don't think I can hit her best pitch. I don't think I can. But it's all like,
and then you're relying on me to be a wingman.
I'm relying on you. But then she was, she looked over and then she said hi. She kind of initiated it. And hey, what's going on? We started talking. She's a school teacher somewhere. The other girl she went to Florida. We were talking about my nephew went to Gator. So with this conversation, meanwhile, it's at the half, but I knew I knew what, because it was only, was it 14? It was 14-0 at the half, I believe.
I don't know. We're
it was 14-0 at the half. Meanwhile, I hear the game going on. A part of me was like, okay, Jimmy, you got a Big Ten game here. You're only down 14-0, even though you stink. And you're talking to someone who is a game changer. I was talking literally to like a Harper and Bailey combined here. If I could get this right. And then I didn't know, they just kind of, we'll see you guys later. They walked away and I was like, all right. Know, it was nice to be out there with the kids. I felt like the 38-year-old who, like unlike the Rookie movie who makes the team, I'm the guy who gets cut 4 hours later.
Atrocious.
But that girl, she had deep speed. Oh my God. Her friend was cute too. It was so funny.
Her friend
was that, I know. You know what?
Her friend was that friend, like I'll just bring you so I look way hotter.
Yeah. Well, that's true too. This girl had like this. She was, oh my God. And the best thing is no Rutgers connection. I wanted to take my kids to
because they were from like Allentown or some shit. And I was like,
I wanted to say to her, why don't you take him to a Penn State game? The fuck are you doing?
Real college,
this is a shitty atmosphere for football. So that was funny. We got back to the seats. We were laughing our ass.
Shout out to Mike DeVerdoff. Ran into him. Haven't seen him.
Yeah, that was cool too.
He was there checking his alumni out as well. He says he says he saw a couple of his shirts still floating around. So that's
how out of shape is he now?
Yeah, right.
God, he is that boy had
ready for the call for the
negative
league.
He had negative fat on him. Negative.
Yeah. He's fucking 6'7". He's huge.
If I feel like if I punched him in the chest, I would have 6 broken bones from my wrist. And he's tall, big, and strong.
Oh yeah,
God bless him. And he's still got 9 years of eligibility left. I don't know.
Yeah, no, he's basically the Paz of football.
Right, he's 41 years old, still wrestling in college. That's very cool. But that was fun to do. And then we sat down, and by the time we got to our seats, it was already 21-0. I said, they scored. So I missed the 21-0 because I was talking to a smoking hot chick. And then striking out on, I didn't even foul one off.
No, that was pretty much 3 pitches right down the flag.
That'll do it here. Johnny, I tried to be cool by taking off the glove, flipping the bat, taking the field, but it was the manager actually took me out of the game after that. There was no taking it. I wasn't even a DH.
You weren't even, and you didn't even like, you're like, all right, yeah, we'll talk soon. She's like, well, I'm not dating. You're like, well, I didn't ask. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was like, I was just striking out.
Hold on. Jimmy didn't even say anything. I'm standing right there and like, she just automatically assumes you're looking to wipe her up. And I'm like,
oh my God, wipe her up. I was just wanted to see her, just to physically look at her again.
Just give me a couple minutes.
She had deep speed. You know what? The fact that I would have been better off watching Wisconsin score to make it 21-0. Talk about having no shot. Oh my God!
And then I defeated. Walked back to the fucking.
Oh my God!
He's
I struck out. I struck out when I said to you, there you go. And then the first thing I see is the scoreboard, and Rutgers is now down 21-0. So that was the start of my weekend. And then, but listen, it was Rutgers, man, and these Facebook posts, guys. It was as bad as the 80-7. It was horrible. Someone said it's not as bad as that 55-13 game against Ohio State. I'm like, yeah, it was. Because I personally think that Wisconsin and Nebraska, I think they stink. And you watch, those 2 schools are not going to kick ass the rest of the way. Mark my words on that. All right. Well, then, of course, Sunday comes. And what the hell did I do? I had to play pickleball at 8 a.m. I felt like shit. And then, of course, I got my daughter to dance. I did the proper dad duties, as I always do. Then I decided to go to church, a little 5 o'clock mass. I came back, made myself a little dinner. I was like, you know what? A Giant game on at 8:20. You watch the Giants coming off the Seahawk win, you know. Yeah. The Giants came.
Can't score.
They can't score.
Neither can the Cowboys, so whatever.
Their defense is good. That was the only, like, the fact that you know what? The Cowboys were getting bitch slapped, but to be honest with you, the Giants, that usually sometimes when the Cowboys lose, you're like, oh, you know, at least the Cowboys left. But the Giants got beaten away where it's like, I don't want to watch football. I literally went out and bought a lacrosse stick. It was horrible. The Giants their defense, you can make the argument the Giants might have the best pass rush in the league. I mean, the front four.
Dexty, man. He's fucking.
But you know what? Their offense, what are you doing? Their players, they stink.
Well, Neighbors is out again. I got to say, though, like, obviously I watched the Cowboys just absolutely get throttled on Sunday, and that was defeating. But, like, by the middle of the second quarter, you just knew where it was going, right? You just knew. I'm like, all right, you know what's going to be one of those games, fucking fourth straight time at home, including last year's playoffs, that the Cowboys are getting beat up. I went on a rant yesterday about it on my show, but I will say when you're down like the Giants were, where it's like striking distance the entire game,
right?
That's the ones that drive me nuts because all you need is one.
We got a big play. What's his name? Took it down to the 20-yard line.
Was it negated by a hole?
But it was a penalty. It's like, but there was also just the Giants. I don't know. You know what might happen to the Giants? The Giants might play well enough to get a shitty draft pick. I fear that. You start getting into that.
My beard. Cowboys are right there.
Right. The Cowboys. I don't. You know what I think's going on with the Cowboys too. Every time. Now again, I didn't watch the whole game. It was on national TV. But what's this? I love CeeDee Lamb because I think he's still up on every play. But
sure.
There seems to be this when they come off the field, everybody's barking and chirping.
Dude,
the Cowboys had a lot of douchebags over the years. Going back to Tony Hill and even Dion but they didn't chirp this way. This is different. This is like coach firing stuff.
Yeah,
I'm tired of it. It's like saying, "Hey, CD, what are you chirping at? You haven't won shit."
Everybody's in their feelings right now. All the players are bitching and moaning. All the fans have had enough of specifically Jerry Jones, the GM Jerry Jones, because we knew going into the season, they thought, let's run it back with what we got and like fill in a couple gaps with some draft picks and we'll be okay. And clearly they're not. So I'm not going to get into all that. You can tune into the Jersey Boys later on today. Right. But I will say this, Jimmy, and this happened to me. This is real life. I'll break the news officially on your show.
I know. I saw it.
I got a DM on Twitter from one Trayvon Diggs, the starting cornerback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And what did he tell you?
He didn't say anything other than he saw what I said because it was a lackluster effort. That's where I'm at. I know I can't play cornerback. I know I'm not anybody even remotely close to an NFL athlete. However,
maybe on Rutgers, you might shuck the guy at the line.
But I will question effort. That's my big thing. Just show me that you give a shit. And there was like 3 or 4 instances this past weekend where Trayvon Diggs went into the business for himself, got out of the way of a steamrolling player, and didn't want to. He basically played Deion Sanders' role where he just didn't want to tackle anybody. He wanted to get out of the way. Like, fuck that. Right. I'm out of here. So he just hit me up with a laughing emoji, a laughing, crying emoji to my DMs. Not a response to one of my tweets. He took the time out of his day, out of his off day, to DM a guy with 6,000 followers. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, you're laughing at this? And I'm sitting here bitching and moaning about the Cowboys. Like, maybe at that moment in my life when I got that DM from a player, maybe at that moment it all switched where I was like, oh, wait a minute. You don't give a shit? I don't give a shit. Like, I when I tell you, bro, I've never been.
First of all, anybody, there's another reason why.
I watch the games. I'm a fan. I'm a diehard fan. I want them to win every fucking game. But if you're out there laughing at fans who are critiquing your play because of effort, that just goes to show me that you don't give a shit about you. That's it.
I think when you critique effort, and you're a player, that's when what he should. You know what I would have done if I was Diggs, I would have said, "Hey, fat, who are you?" Instead, he's like just laughing.
So it's like, so he's basically, what that to me that translates to, Look at this jerk off internet guy who thinks he can do what I do. Guess what, buddy? I would lay out. I would lay out and try to tackle somebody. I might get run over, but I'll lay out for my guys.
I agree with you. I hate that. And matter of fact, usually even journalists, one of the biggest things they always talk about, you got to be real careful. You got to be so sure when you say someone lack of effort. Managers sometimes, coaches get real angry at that because sometimes the kids are really playing hard and they're giving it all. It's just not working out.
And if they, that's what I'm saying.
When you quit, that is, be honest with you, it's a little bit of a rough statement from you to say that, but you based it on what you saw. And for him to just hit a laughing emoji, now he's another guy, goes for the pick anyway.
Right. And at the end of the game, when he gets burnt for his third go route, he slams the turf as if it bothered him. Clearly, it's not bothering him. It's not.
Right.
He's a $97 million cornerback.
The other thing is, now this is a get off my lawn guy thing. I watched the Giant game. I watched the even the Rutgers game, I guess, and the Jets game last night. While the Yankee game was on, I was doing split screen and stuff during the commercials. This penalty thing in the NFL, it's. I know it's an old. I feel old to say that, but it really, it's at the point where it's affecting the whole thing. Well, there's holding on every play. I get all that, but it's affecting the flow of the telecast. In other words, and it's rarely. Here's what's rare. This is the argument I would have. Giants play the Cowboys, right? All these penalties. It used to be, oh, what the fuck? We would have won that game. They scored those 6 penalties against the Giants. It's not what it is. It's like, yeah, there was like 9 penalties on the Cowboys. It was 7 against us. It's just a matter of which one lands on the 70-yard bomb.
Yep.
But there's also penalties of where the referee has to go, what happened was there was a neutral zone on the thing because the guy, I actually love holding number 78 done. Now it's like
the conference
roughing the passer, but it's also a holding.
Dude, I'm telling you, and you know what? You can hear it in the voices of the older broadcasters now too.
Right. It's like
Buck. They're all just like, dude, enough. You know, like
they either got to. I know that they're so worried about concussions. So anything. I also think sometimes, oh God, they're doing the Jet game had some really bad calls both sides.
Well, even Rogers went out and said, he's like, there was a roughing the passer call on me that was not roughing the passer.
Now I did watching the game. Rogers probably had his best game as a Jet,
now obviously the breaking news today was big for him. So let's see if they capitalize on that. But
they're going to get Devontae Adams on the team.
Traded for him this morning. So.
Well, I predicted the Jets will not make the playoffs. They won't, and I predict that trade will go even worse for them.
Minus 185 right now to miss the playoffs. So you are on the right side of things right now.
And I think Devontae. I just think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to work either. But listen, I still think Rodgers. He's got an incredible sharpshooting arm. He threw, but even that touchdown, a couple of big plays by him. The player, it squeezed. Rodgers, that touchdown pass in the corner of the end zone. You know what happens? You know what? I think Rodgers looks lucky on his passes now. That's my opinion. I don't think the Jets are going anywhere, but they played hard. They gave it a shot, and
give it 2 weeks. I know this is going to sound ridiculous. The Jets are 2-4 right now, but in come the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then in come the Patriots. The Jets. We could be talking about the Jets being 4-4 2 weeks from now, and be like everything's fine.
Well, that's my point about the Cowboys, though. We're bashing the Cowboys. They're playing like shit. Okay. But they're 3-3.
And they're a game out of first place. No, I know. I'm well aware. But the problem is the wins have come across Cleveland, New York, and Pittsburgh. Right. The losses came to the Saints, Baltimore, and now the Lions. 3 powerhouse teams. So fine. You want to tell me that the Cowboys are going to win all the games they should, like when they play the Panthers again and shit like that? Yeah, fine. We'll win those games. Right. But then when they win them,
but you know the NFL
and go to San Francisco, that's going to be fun.
But the NFL is a week-to-week league, and if you score, you get a win against you're 4-3. The bottom line is, I really think, especially the way the NFL is, it used to be just make the playoffs. But a team like the Cowboys, I really believe with the talent they have on their roster, if they somehow get in the playoffs at, I always say 9-7, 10, whatever the fuck, the 85 games now, Well, if you get in the playoffs, you still got Dak, you still got CeeDee Lamb.
Oh, they're there, man. I still believe
You know,
I still believe in the good players on this team. It's just that I don't know if I'm starting to see an effort thing, then that's coaching. And if Jerry Jones, by the way, went on 105.3 to Fan today,
I heard it. I saw that.
dude, basically telling the radio host, if you don't start asking me the better questions, I'll have you fired.
Right. Or I'm going to go somewhere else, like another radio station or something.
Well, not even. No. He basically said you're gonna lose your job if you don't come correct next time.
Right.
But it's all the questions that you need to ask.
Yes.
Like they're doing their job. That is their job. So now old man all of a sudden is now starting to bark back at people because guess what? He's feeling the fucking heat. And
he's got a. He first of all, I saw him coming out of the stadium. He's you know what's funny? He's speaking in that old man voice, like I don't know, like he doesn't have the fire in the belly.
I'm sure.
I don't know. Why can't his son be right? If his son's gonna take over,
the son is just as bad.
I know, but still, you got him. There's got to be you know what? I guess he's gonna die at the job, and that's it. Well, let's talk about the Bronx.
Super Bowl.
First of all, the new law firm I'm going to is Stanton and Weaver. John Carlo. Everybody was saying the wind's blowing in. I texted my brother and said Stanton's going to hit one straight through the wind. And even though I said he won the game, he really
was
didn't.
A fucking piss.
And I knew it. Now I saved it on my TV. How far? Because
20 feet. 20 feet to my left.
So you were sitting. So if you're looking at because I got it on TV and they showed a couple of crowds.
Oh, I found myself. I got myself. Yeah, I'm on TV.
What were you wearing?
I was wearing my Yankees jersey, but underneath I had a big black hoodie because it was fucking freezing. So
it's over your head too, like
no. It was just like you just see a larger individual.
And you had the cowboy hat on.
No, I had my Yankee hat on.
So Yankee hat on with a black hoodie.
Yeah, you see me. I'll send you a picture. I found myself yesterday because I watched it over and over and over again. I'm like, where am I? And I tell you what, man. It is insane to me that like we've bought beers there in the stadium, which are again $18 a beer.
Right.
When Giancarlo and Soto hit their home runs, all those beers went flying into the night, and nobody gave a rat's ass. I'm like, man, you know what I did? I tucked my beer down.
Oh yeah. No, listen,
I'm not losing this shit. You crazy?
No, nobody loses.
Dousing it like a
I know it's so stupid.
I said, bro, I'm getting soaked with beer. So even if I didn't drink that night and I get pulled over,
I know you look like.
Well, looks like you've been drinking. I'm like, no. Actually, Soto hit a bomb and they poured beer on me.
I was laughing because that was actually a quick game. And as soon as the game was over, I texted you, all right, done Ellen by 1 a.m. And you're like, man, how did you get out of there,
dude? We were in the river lot, got out of there quick. My boy did one big maneuver, went to the left as opposed to the right. And I was on the GWB, no bullshit, from car parking lot to the GWB in like 10 minutes.
That's unbelievable. Dude, some people didn't get, some people are still sitting.
Some people are still in the Bronx and maybe just wait until the game.
Crazy.
Yeah, I got home very fast.
Listen, the bottom line is Rodon was awesome.
And he leveled out his composure because remember that first game, he had his tongue out and he's all pumped up and shit. He leveled it out. He threw a gem, bro. 9 strikeouts.
But that being said,
here's another stat. I know you're not going to care about this stat, but 25 swings and misses, which is the highest number since they started tracking swings and misses since 2008.
Right.
25 swings and misses.
And the Yankees were making contact, but however, I'm going to bring everybody down now.
Okay. Cleveland couldn't hit the broadside of a barn when it comes to pitching.
First of all, the first pass ball, the announcer's like, oh, well, he was trying to reframe the zone. When you got a runner on third, my uncle right now is listening to me from his grave. He caught for 30 years. When you got a runner on third and a ball is going to bounce, your only job as a catcher, forget about the guy going first and second. No one cares about that. Your only job is to block the ball. And they're all doing this, like sweat. You got to block. And finally, after the fifth one, the announcer just said, well, you at a certain point when a runner on third, yes. I think the Yankees last night although all the runs were earned, I still don't understand that. Cleveland played really shitty. They got shitty. And one good thing the Yankees do is they take pitches. So I don't know what your pitching coach says to do. And the umpire wasn't giving the edges. And you're fine.
And it's very hard to call from where I was sitting, obviously, right left.
No, you can't see a thing.
But no, I mean, there was a couple balls where I'm texting my brother, like, hey, man, where was that one?
Right.
Because unless I'm completely blind, that looked right down Broadway. And I was like, some of the balls I was
the Yankees still never get that 3 hits in a row inning. They just don't. They never have.
You thought in the first inning we were going to blow it open.
I know. That's what I thought. And then zip.
Yeah, we're going to fucking romp them.
And I don't know. The Yankees, I think the Wells thing, they got to move Stanton to fourth. I don't know. He stinks, bro. You know what is? You know who stinks? Chisholm stinks. Wells stinks.
They're having a rough postseason so far. Yeah.
And to me, Rizzo can't play the field anymore. That ground ball. Like, what are you doing? Catch the ground ball.
Boone's quote after the game kind of, I understood it, but I was like, almost like, he's a grown man. And they're like, he goes, yeah, Rizzy was, physically and emotionally spent, so I took him out for the 9th. Like, physically and going into the 9th inning trying to close out a game.
Playing baseball.
Right. Like, you're not blocking a D tackle.
That would be like you saying, Jimmy, don't do the last 5 minutes of this podcast.
I'm physically and emotionally spent. Awful. I'm done. But whatever, man. You're going to get everybody in the game fine.
Yankees, you know what? Got to get that first game when you're the home team. That's always big.
And I don't know if you noticed this, but I think they might have switched it last year. But the 2-3-2 thing, like it's never.
It's 2.
Yeah, it used to be 2-2-1-1-1, but now it's 2-3-2. So it's you get those two in the Bronx. It's very pivotal because you're not returning to the Bronx until Game 6.
I also think it's critical with the days off. Like the Mets, the first round, Yankees had a day off in between every game. This series, it's 1-2, and then Thursday, Friday again. Is that what it is?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
3 days in a row they play.
No, actually, you know what? They're off. Yeah, no, it is because they play tonight. They're off tomorrow, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
You sure it's not Thursday, Friday, Sunday?
They play Saturday night, Game 6. So,
right. That's but you know what? Listen, the Yankees had a better record on the road anyway. The playoff baseball is every game is you gotta stop. It's like I watch the games. Of course, I think everybody sucks. So, but a big win. The Mets came back, bounced back. So your Mets fans out there, they needed that badly. I have no idea where that series is going. Dodgers are good, but the Mets are best team in baseball since July.
They put it on. That was the exact response they needed.
Yeah, absolutely. Which brings us to cornholelevel.com here. Mike Caprio met him at the game with his wife. Listen, here it is right here. I got it. For those of you watching it at home, you got to get this here. I don't know how many sales he got for my show, but I think more people know about it. There's a scar. I should not use the Rutgers thing anymore because I'm disgusted. Dave's cornhole was needed to be restructured. And you know what? I'm so glad. If you need your cornhole fixed, you got to go to Yankee Stadium sometimes. They have the experts there that can fix your cornhole. There was nothing available in Piscataway or Dallas, Texas to get your cornhole fixed.
Nope.
Of course, the Bronx, 161st.
Rangers won again.
I know, but I can't discuss hockey until playoffs. But go to cornholelevel.com, put in JP Show, and also, what is it, Chop Sports too?
Oh, yeah. He says that code still exists. So if you put Chop Sports.
JP Show at Chop Sports, and they're redoing their website and all that. Which brings us to the stinks list here at Shea. And here we go. All right, I got the Buffalo Bills still average. The Dolphins stink, the Jets stink, and the Patriots stink, which I think is accurate. Baltimore Ravens, I still got them as good. The Pittsburgh Steelers, I've upgraded to average at 4-2.
Yeah, they're making a quarterback change, by the way.
Yeah, there's
at 4-2.
Cincinnati Bengals, I tell you, I think the Giants stink. The Bengals stink. They'll stay there. Cleveland Browns stink. I got the Houston Texans at very good. That's probably the first very good. I don't know how long they'll stay there, but they're very good. I got the Colts being upgraded to average. Titans and Jaguars, you guys stink. Kansas City Chiefs, they didn't play. I got them at very good because they just never lose. And I got the Chargers, Broncos, and Raiders I got Chargers and Broncos as average, and your Raiders, I'm sorry. John Maddie out of Colonia, you guys stink. Let's see here. Then we got NFC East here, Shay. Here you go. Dave working his new toy there.
I've been playing the whole time. You haven't even heard it, so that's fine.
No, I can't hear everything on the show.
All good.
I got the Washington Commanders. Now they're just good. They're downgraded. And I'm sorry, I watched a little bit of that Eagle game, some highlights. I got the Eagles, Cowboys, and Giants all stink. NFC East to me right now is the worst division, I think. But certainly, what was that? I got Minnesota Vikings at very good. And for the first time in the very good category for the bitch slapping they put on the Cowboys, I got the Detroit Lions is very good. I think they've always been very good, but they didn't show it.
Yeah,
I got the Packers. Packers is average. I got the Chicago Bears as good. That little quarterback's playing really well. They're 4-2. We'll see how long that lasts. I got Atlanta Falcons is good. Tampa Bay Buccaneers is good. I'm sorry, some of my Saint fans on this site, Saints stink and the Panthers stink. Panthers have been, I think the Panthers and Giants may be on the stinks the longest. I think it's 2 years in a row. 49ers upgraded to average here at Shea, so I think the Cowboys could beat them in a couple weeks.
Maybe.
Seahawks, average. And, of course, your friend and mine, the Cardinals and the Rams, you both stink. So that's it. We have 15 stinks, which is even from last week. We have 8 averages, 5 goods. I was kind this weekend, maybe because the Yankees made me kind last night. And 4 very goods, which is even. That's the Jimmy Palumbo stinks list. Your friend and mine. It's very accurate because I was looking up power ratings again, and my stinks is very accurate. I know you don't think so, but you don't know what you're talking about either. Where are we at now? Where am I at? Also, big announcement. Big announcement. Your friend and mine, me, Jimmy Palumbo, will be performing up here in Bergen County in another weekend of the Nutcracker. It'll be
Like a 1-point lead.
I will be performing with my daughter, Natalie Palumbo, in the Nutcracker up here at Shea. For my 3rd straight performance, doing the same thing, which is basically just nodding like this and smiling. And I have to pick up one of the little kids and walk them off stage. That's all I
great.
do. But I get to be on stage with my daughter. I get to be at a rehearsal with her. And she gets a kick out of bossing me around at the rehearsal. Like, she forgets, like, I felt like I'm going to start calling Natalie Brawny. It's like, she's like, Dad, you're not moving. Relax. When's the game? The game?
Yeah, I'll show up. This
is practice, Dad. I'm just shooting around.
Jimmy's gonna show up with the tearaway pants,
One of these days, there's a lead guy. One of the characters is the lead guy, and one of these years they're gonna say, Jimmy, you want to play the lead?
There's an adult lead.
Yeah, because if you see, trust me, your Nutcracker days are that Nutcracker flight to Dunellen is already in the air. There's an ETA. The pilots are calm. They're already talking to the Dunellen airport, saying, "Yeah, we got a landing at the Sturchill Residence Nutcracker here. We got one Stella. That is coming. I can't wait. I can't wait to see all your. I want the photos. And it's great. Also, the best. We're gonna go. I'll invite you to this. We're gonna be going down. Maybe for either Yankee game down at the Pine Tar Bar and Grill in Forked River. Going to get a bunch of guys going down. Oh, you know what we didn't talk about? You hanging out with Venditti. Now, Venditti works for the Giants. Dave was an intern 100 years ago, and it's great seeing him.
Great to see him, catch up with him, find out what he's
so
doing.
Funny.
Oh, he's great. Funny. He's great. Hey, dude, he's such a passionate laugher.
Oh, we and him laugh. We laugh. That's why the reason why I always say Venditti drove off the road. It's not because he's angry. It's because he's like, Jimmy, I can't believe you just mentioned Byron Williams or Johnny Perkins. And all those old players are funny to us, especially Yankee players and all that shit. I can't wait. You know how funny it's going to be? We're going to be mentioning Wells or Chisholm. Like 10 years from now, I don't think I'll be doing this show. But if I am, that guy, who's that skinny guy? Looks like Chisholm. And and some young kid's gonna be like, who are you talking about? Like, I was a guy who played in 2000.
That's another thing. Just real quick side story. Like
he stinks.
The people, not him. I'm not talking about him, but like the people around us in the bleachers. I am officially the old guy. It is.
I'm telling you, I know you are.
Bro. Like the kids are worried about their parlays and shit, and I'm just like, what the fuck? I get it. Like they're celebrating, but they're using this language that I just don't even understand. They're like they're speaking in tongue. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And they're looking at me like I'm the crazy one. And I used your line today because we're right over the visitors' bullpen. So I'm yelling at everybody that's warming up, and then people, these two Indian fans, Guardian fans, turn around. I said, I'm going to be here all day, pal. All day.
That's so great.
Oh, and that's
how you know.
Another thing. You want to hear something crazy? So the Stanton home run, watch it back. The person who's supposed to catch it does not catch the ball. They drop it.
It doesn't hit the wall?
Somebody caught it and dropped it.
Oh,
and
wow.
it drops into the visitor's bullpen. So chances are nobody's going to see that ball because the Guardians aren't going to give you a home run ball, right?
Right.
The Guardian guy, and we have it on video, the kid in front of me who's videotaping everything for his Snapchat, right? He goes, bro, look at the video I just got. The guy and the Guardians, like the bullpen catcher, walks the home run ball over to the officer, the NYPD officer, gives it to the officer, and the officer puts it in his pocket. And I was like,
wow.
That son of a bitch. So
he should have tossed it up to the bleachers.
We're all berating the cop. I'm like, you have the ball. Throw it up to us. We're fans.
Oh, that's great. Forget it.
Line I could have dropped on that. People were like, I'll give you $50. I'll give you this. I was like, I have 2 kids. You can have one of them. Give me this kid home run ball.
Oh, you know what? Then you would have had to give that to me. I would have been right here, right next to the beer league.
The guy behind me, after I said the kids thing, I was like, you know what? In fact, take my wife. And then one guy's, take my wife too. People are offering up this
great
child and shit.
There's something special about bleachers at Yankee Stadium.
He walks away, and that motherfucker went home with the home run ball as a cop.
I love it. That's great. Good story there. That's congratulations, Mr. Officer. Pine Tar Bar and Grill, 121 South Main Street, Forked River, 609-489-4286. And Lisa Ruane, therapist, if you're struggling with Cowboys losing or Rutgers losing, 201-725-1251. She specializes in curing you of that sports are not important and don't cry in your beer.
Getting there.
Also, I forgot. I'll save this for the last thing we talk about. Absolute Eyewear, 42 Main Street, Woodbridge, New Jersey, 732-3937. I went there. Craig, my fine right fielder, was there Friday before the screening. He got me this pair. He fixed like the 6 pairs I had that were all busted up. So, Craig and Johnine, I thank you very much.
I feel like I'm officially a part of the crew now because now when I see Craig, I say, it's the all-time strikeout leader.
He used to get mad, but now he just laughs.
Yeah, now he laughs it off.
By the way, that you know how we kid around about stuff in softball that's not really true. Like, you made them up. If you ask anyone who played for Corona, just say who struck out the most, without they go, Craig did. It's like he was Reggie-esque at that.
Wow.
But I still love. He was so nice to me. He fixed all my shit. It was always good talking to him. And Johnine at the Rutgers game, she's a big fan. Johnine watches all the same awful sports we do and get pissed.
Mm-hmm. Another Randy Quaid moment from Major League 2. She's like, we were 0 with runners in scoring position, but we won, so I guess I'll take it. I'm like, what do you mean you guess you'll take it?
Take the win. Right. That's why, anytime you get a win in the playoffs, I don't care if there's an earthquake and the ball dribbles foul, like, we win. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
You win. So go check out Absolute Eyewear, 42 Main Street. Charles Oakley's works there now. And still makes Dave laugh. I make him laugh.
It's better because it gets like less and less every so often. You're like, whatever. Charles Oakley's over there working. He's behind the counter.
I can't wait till I meet him.
Around.
I'm going to meet him again. I met him on Artie Lang's podcast once. I wasn't doing my own podcast. So big shout out to my buddy Al Sonatas. Take care of yourself, man. We love you. And also shout out to Artie. Artie, we can't wait to get you back in the world and making people laugh again. That's one thing. Last thing, and we're done. One thing that really made me not melancholy, but you got to remember we watched the short beer league and then the pilot, and just seeing a young Artie Lang at the plate. You want to talk about a healthy Lou Gehrig. To see Artie so vibrant, so alive, so funny, so especially during the short game day. It really made me, I guess it made me sad. I was like, fuck, this guy was, everybody talks about like Sebastian Maniscalco and Bill Burr. They're fun. You know what? They're fine players. but Artie was a shutdown corner. Artie lines up against Bill Burr. Bill Burr doesn't get open. He was that good, that funny, and he was funny even not in showbiz. Artie, if you, I just wish you could sit at the bar with Artie with a football game on. The cowboy material he'd be doing, he'd be crying. You'd be rooting for the Giants at the end of it. You're laughing your ass off. And he was so alive and stuff like that. And
not for nothing, but Q&A after you were done. First question: how's Artie?
How's Artie?
Came from the fans.
And
so
I tried to.
The fans are very, they're in.
I know Artie's probably not listening to this. You never know. Maybe he is. Art, a lot of people out there love you, man, and we're here whenever you're ready to put the glove on. Go out, just go out there and play to hop in. And Artie will always be a part of beer. That's another bullshit thing. Someone said, "Oh, Jimmy's taking advantage of Artie." There's no taking advantage of Artie. Artie's Lawrence Taylor. Do you want to hop in the game? Yes. There's no. I love Artie. I would love to have if we was in beer league. How funny this shit would be. And so I miss you, Art, and hope you're doing okay. And I'll be talking to him this week. And thanks for Deej coming with his family. I was a little harsh on Deej from the podium there, but you know what? I forgot his kids were there. They don't want to hear some guy ripping on their dad. But me and Deej had that relationship. We fuck on each other all the time. Deej is in shape too. Deej, I don't think I can go 10 rounds with the champ with Deej. He's lean and mean. He looks good. And that's it. All right, that's our show. Love you guys. Thanks, Dave. And are you going to the game this week? I guess so. Right?
What is it? Oh, it's Saturday?
Yeah.
Is that UCLA noon start though?
Yeah, noon start.
They didn't move it, huh? It's so weird, man. You're making a UCLA team come across the nation, basically pay at 9 a.m. That's basically that's so weird.
But no matter what happens, we're still gonna suck.
Yeah, that's
you know what though? I could see Ernie waiting. Maybe I'll go. We'll talk.
No. I just gotta make sure I got the pumpkins are clear and shit.
Oh, pumpkin patch.
We did it the other day. We did it the other day, and
but you didn't get enough pumpkins.
Well, you didn't go pumpkin picking. It was weird. It was just like a weird thing.
Did you get apples? Did you go apple picking?
We got a couple pumpkins and shit.
Yeah, here it's Shay.
All right, good night, everybody.